Hank and I hear very often from clients who want our opinion on automobile insurance coverage and want to know whether or not we think they have enough. And it's a little bit of a difficult question to answer on the front end because your automobile insurance coverage has so many components to it. But today I want to talk very briefly about liability insurance coverage and what that means. Liability insurance is coverage that covers you to the extent you hit somebody else and it's your fault and that other person is injured. This is money that is in your policy that keeps you from having to pay that person that you've hit out of your own pocket. In South Carolina, we have minimum liability limits. There's a statute that says you have to carry so much insurance coverage. In South Carolina, the minimum liability limits are 25/50. And what that means is this. If you hit somebody and that person's injured, the most your policy is going to pay out would be $25,000 for any one single injured party. If you hit that same car and that car's got 10 people in it, the most that policy is going to pay out is $50,000. How does this work? Well, let's assume for a second you got a relatively average car wreck and somebody suffers, let's say, an injury that's fairly common, a torn rotator cuff in a shoulder. By the time somebody treats for an injury like a torn rotator cuff and has surgery to repair the tear and has therapy and doctor's visits and they're out of work, things of that nature, it wouldn't be uncommon for an injury like that to cost, just in medical expenses alone, upward of $60,000 to $75,000. Well, if you've got minimum insurance coverage and that person has suffered an injury that requires them to spend $75,000 in medical bills, I don't have to tell you, you don't have enough coverage. What happens if you don't have enough coverage? Well, if you're like me and you're somebody that cares about your personal assets, and cares about things like the equity in your home, you're going to want to make sure you have enough coverage. For me, it's not worth taking the risk.